corner. You know? And I'm like, dang, he's got me beat in that category. So this was back in the message board days, you know, right after our transformations. And I just want to share a little bit about me before we get started. First of all, I thank you guys for having me. I think you have an incredible team. You have an incredible area. Obviously, a great turnout today, almost 150 people. And you all came to learn something. You all came for a reason. There's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you showed up. And it's because you have a need, whatever that need is. And you're going to hear some things from me today. You're going to hear some things from Miss Hillary Kelly, who's a 15-star, who, you know, she blows my mind. So you're going to hear a lot of things. And sometimes it's nice to know a little bit more personal things about who's in front of you, right? So I'm just a football coach. I mean, really, that's what I am. I've been a football coach, a high school football coach for the last 14 years. Tell you a little bit about my life. I grew up in a very poor home, an impoverished home. I grew up on welfare. I was a free lunch kid and was always very embarrassed about that. My father was an alcoholic, and my stepfather had physically and sexually abused us as we were growing up. And so I grew up, you know, just being embarrassed. I know what an extra $500 to $1,000 a month can do for families. And I look back into my life, and if my mother could have just generated another $1,000 a month, then we wouldn't have ended up, you know, homeless, living out of a car for 3 months when I was 11 years old. And so there's people in your life that need to know this opportunity. This opportunity is amazing. You got to get it to be more than just how many push-ups you do. This could be life-saving for families. It could save homes. It can save children from embarrassment. And as people get into this, you have people on your list that need to be part of what we do in some way or fashion, right? I was morbidly obese for 20 years of my life. All of that stuff during my childhood led me to just obsessively eating. And I would eat, and I would eat, and I would eat. And it was all this emotional pain that I was going through that led me to eating until I was physically in pain. Because if I did that, then I could just go disappear and sit on the couch and feel miserable and not worry about ever dealing with other people, because all people had ever done was hurt me. Right? And so that led to 20 years of me obsessively eating. And I ate for every reason. I ate because I was happy. I ate because I was pissed. I ate because there was just food. I ate because I was depressed. And I suffered from a lot of depression. And people that know me now don't understand that I did. I had depression for a long time. I grew up, and as a teenager, I was suicidal. I had a lot of suicidal thoughts. I had a lot of angry thoughts. I was fighting, smoking, drinking, stealing. And it was my football coach, Ed Nasami, who, when I was in 8th grade and getting in a lot of trouble, he pulled me aside. And he said to me, he goes, hey, he's this big Italian guy, right? He looks like a friggin' silverback gorilla. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yes. Mike, you met him. He was at my wedding, right? And so here I am, an 8th grader, and here's this guy who's the head football coach, and he pulls me aside, and he says to me, he goes, hey, I'm going to talk just like him. He's Italian. So he goes, hey, what's this crap about you smoking? I looked up at him, I go, yeah, okay. And he goes, I hear you're drinking, I hear you're fighting. And he goes, you know what, I know your grandmother. And at the time, my grandmother had taken over my life. She was raising me at that point, right? My mom's mother. And he said to me, he goes, hey, I'm going to shoot you straight. You have two choices in life. You can be a winner or you can be a loser, but you can't be both. But you can't be both. And until you realize that when you're 30, nobody's going to give a crap what happened to you when you were 10, right? That's when you'll make the decision to be a winner rather than a loser. Now, I also know you're a good student. I know that you're a good football player. I know that you have all these other things going on for you. And so my suggestion is this, that you take football seriously and that you learn everything you can and start hanging around with a different group of kids. But that was the first time where I really learned the value of mentorship, right? I mean, we can all think of people who mentored us, but he was the first person to ever like take that mirror and put it right in my face and make me own it. And make me own it. See, a lot of us, even in this business, we make excuse after excuse after excuse why it's not working out for us. And until you step up and own it, until you make it your choice, right? I mean, Amy French's story is perfect. For the first couple of years, she really didn't do much with the business. She was sitting on all this potential. She had amazing people that she was connected to that needed this, and it was a choice that she made. You're always getting either closer to the masses or further away from it, right? Okay, so you decided to be a coach, so you're here. Then you decide that you want to show up to an event, so you've made it even further from the masses. I also know that only 20% of this room is going to take what's taught to them today and take it out in the field and actually apply it and actually start helping people and actually start building a different income stream for their families in the process. It's up to you what you do with it. It's up to you what your why is. And it all starts with you. At the end of the day, I can sit here and I can go through game plans. I can talk to you about the systems that we put together. And at the end of the day, here's the thing. Every system is designed to work. The only difference is who's using it. And what their mindset is, what their philosophies are, and what their attitudes are. That's it. Okay? This system can work for somebody, and it cannot work for others. But if you have a sucky attitude with this system, guess what? You're going to have a sucky attitude with the next system, and the next thing, and the next thing, and you're always going to get sucky results. So that's on you, right? That's on us. So we have to understand that. So what I want to do today is well, let me tell you about the coaching part, because I signed up to be a coach. I was that guy, I didn't even want to put my credit card down because I didn't know if there was room on it for the $40 sign-up fee, right? Constantly lived and maxed out credit cards. Constantly gambling my life away. I was like scratching lottery tickets praying to win $50. You know, and I probably, seriously, like $100 worth of lottery tickets, $200 a week. Right? And I would go home and I would order pizza, I'd scratch lottery tickets and pray to win, and when I didn't win, I'd get online and play poker. But I constantly lived in this mindset, like if I could just win that money, if I could just win that $5,000, if I could just win $500. Right? And guys, it didn't matter, but that's what drove me when it came time for the $1 Million Body Game. I had an opportunity to win $250,000 at the time, the Beachbody Challenge. That's what the winner got, right? And so I became obsessed with this contest. I became obsessed where all I thought about every day was working out and getting fit, and I thought I'm going to have the most shocking before and after pictures that anybody's ever put out. And honestly, that did happen. I mean, there's times I see my after picture, I go, holy crap, how did I do that? And so that was I made the finals in the $1 Million Body Game. And my first experience with the coaching, I was a coach at that time, but I really hadn't done anything with it. I hadn't made that choice that I wanted to treat it like a business. And so I go to this $1 Million Body Game, and this is after 6 months of obsessing over winning this thing. And I get on stage, and it's me and Dallas Carter and Dale, okay, and then this guy Bill, and I don't win. I don't win. Dallas Carter wins. He gets $250,000. And that was the biggest blessing that ever happened in my life. Because we left, we went backstage, and I see Dallas Carter. He's over here holding his check for $250,000. You know, he's in front of the cameras, $250,000. And I'm standing over here next to Carl Deichler, and I'm just staring at him. Yeah, the football coach started coming up to me, right? And I'm just staring at him, and Carl says, this is the first time Carl ever spoke to me. And he says to me, he looks at me, and he says, so how you feeling about this? I said, you want me to give you a line of crap, or you want the truth? He goes, oh, the truth is good. I said, I feel like I just got my ass kicked and I'm watching the other team sing the fight song across the field. I'm not very happy. Okay? And he looks at me and he says, listen, I know that you believe that you've lost a life-changing amount of money. $250,000. How many people agree that $250,000 could be a life-changing amount of money, right? To me, I was going to pay off my house. Especially in Bellevue, Ohio, where I'm from, 9,000 people, $250,000 goes a long way. That was 5 times my annual income. That was 5 times my annual income. And Carl looks at me and he says, listen, I know you feel like you've lost a life-changing amount of money today, but here's what I want to tell you. If you do this coaching thing right, you'll be making that every year, if not every month. And that's when it clicked in my head. Oh, crap, this is no joke. How many people have been to a bigger event with Beachbody, and you walk into the event, and you realize this is no joke. I mean, this is legit. This is the real deal. It's bigger than just this group that's sitting here in this room. When you go to a summit and you walk in and there's thousands of people and you see the productions that the company puts on and you see the camera crews and all of a sudden you got a boom mic in your face and you're like, holy crap, this is like Hollywood, man. I'm just from a farm town. There's a cornfield in my backyard. You know? And it hits you that this is real. And you have a real company that provides real products that actually produce real results. And we're perfectly blessed in that category. We're blessed to be part of an opportunity that does it. But they have their job. Their job is the products. Our job is people. Do you guys understand that? The less we focus on product and the more we focus on people, the better our results are in the field. It's so easy for us to get entangled in this product enthusiasm, what I call product vomiting, right? I mean, when I had lost all that weight, if somebody asked me about P90X, it was a 45-minute dissertation. I went through every workout, every Tonyism, everything in the nutritional plan, right? And I'm like whacking them over the head with the P90X book. Here. And we tend to do that because we're so excited about this stuff. We're so excited about Shakeology. We're so excited about groups. But once I learned to take my focus off the products and put the focus on the people, it's people. Here's the thing. You want to build a business, right? How many people in here would like to build a business? Right? Okay. Guess what? Who has the money that you're going to make? People. Right? People have the money. People have the money. You're dealing with people. Okay? Who is going to be getting the results that you need in your challenge group so that you can use those results as testimonials? They're people, right? People are going to get those results. People are going to get those results. So you're going to hear me talk today a lot about people skills. Having a plan. What do I do with people at the beginning when I'm prospecting them? What do I do with people after they sign up when I sponsor them? What do I do with people? And once we get the focus on people and take it off the products, that's when magic truly starts to happen. You start helping other people get results. You start helping other people. Your job is to help people get results. Get results on two sides of things. On the fitness side, actually three sides. Fitness, income, and life. Because here's what I know about people. People come with a whole bunch of crap that holds them back. I know I did. I spent 2 years as a diamond coach. 2 years as a diamond coach. And my ego was so big, I didn't think I needed to do personal development. I'm good. I'm Tommy Mygrant. What the hell do I need personal development for? Right? There's people in this room today that you've heard that term, personal development, over and over, and yet you haven't opened a book or put in an audio CD. And I'm going to tell you right now, that stuff will change your life. That stuff, that's the stuff right there. Invest in yourself. Okay? I didn't think that I needed to get organized. I wouldn't even keep a list, right? I went to an event in Nashville. I don't think you were there. But I went to this event in Nashville, and MJ Durkin, how many people know who MJ is, right? So I'm sitting front row, and MJ's up here, and he's like, you got to keep a list. And he pulls his list out of it. You got to have a list. And I'm like, what the hell do I need a list for? I'm Tommy Mygrant. Right? And all I was doing was getting in my way. And then I sat there and I thought, why am I only a diamond? Why aren't my people doing anything? Right? If I could just get my people to do something. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if your people aren't doing anything, it's because you have not been a very good leader and shown them the way. You haven't kept it simple enough. You haven't been very clear and concise and consistent in simplicity. I'm going to tell you right now, too many options is what freezes people, right? When they have too many options. And we have a lot of options. We have a lot of options on the fitness side. It's one reason why challenge packs work, because it limits the options and it packages everything so they don't have to pick multiple things from multiple categories. It makes it one simple option. We also need to have simple and clear direction for our coaches. There's a lot of options as coaches. If you go into that coach training academy, to me, that's an analysis paralysis. It makes me freeze. Too many options. And a new coach going in there is going to think, okay, what do I do? Do I do a fit club? Do I do a home party? Do I do a challenge group? What am I focused on? There's so many options. You know what? Screw it. I don't have time. How many people have dealt with that? dealt with other people that they don't believe time is the answer. They don't think they have it. Okay, so today what I want to do is go through the game plan. I want you to know that this opportunity has been life-changing for me. It brought me an incredible wife. Stand up. So, I know. Listen, I wake up every day and go, is this really my life? And I look over at her and I go, holy shit, it is. Wow. Thank God I decided to not be a fat ass anymore. You know, seriously, that's what goes through my head, right? I mean, when you think about the power of choice and you think about the power of action, there's a lot of things that make you freeze. Too many options makes you freeze. Think about this. When you drive a car, can you get in a car and drive it? Every head in this room is going to say yes, okay? There's only a couple of options, right? Park, reverse, drive. Gas pedal, there's limited options. Limited things that you have to know to do. And all you have to do is master gas and brake. That's it. Gas and brake, 2 options, right? What about an airplane? How many people could get in the cockpit of an airplane and fly that sucker? Anybody? No, there's too many options, right? It's hard to master. It's overwhelming. It makes you go, holy crap, I can't do it. Just looking at it makes you freeze. Makes you freeze to the point where fear then gets ingrained in you, and fear is what takes you over, and then it's fear. Our job is to do things in a simple way to alleviate the fear of the other person. Because if they're holding back, there's one of 2 reasons why they're holding back. One is they don't believe they should do it. They haven't yet developed a why. They haven't yet found a deeper reason to do it. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't have a very deep reason, this game, this coaching game, it'll knock the life out of you. If you don't have a deep enough reason why. There's going to be times of struggle. There's going to be times and months where it sucks. There are. There's going to be times and months where you're stressed out, and then there's going to be times where you know it's all worth it. And I'm not going to sit here and blow happy sunshine up your tail and tell you that it's all roses, because it's not. You're going to have to deal with a lot of different people, and a lot of different people come with a bunch of junk. You want to know why personal development is important? I'll tell you why. 1, it teaches you how to handle it, and 2, now you know what resources to plug your people into so that you can let those resources deal with their junk instead of you. Once I figured this out, because I spent a lot of time, hours. I mean, 2 years ago, I was working like 70 hours a week doing this. Right? And to the point where I got afraid to sponsor anybody because I sat there and thought, man, if it takes this much time in my life and I can barely do it, why would I ever want to bring someone into that? That's when I knew that we needed some solutions. We needed to put something together that helped people get immediate results faster in less time. Right? Isn't that what people want? What do people want? Immediate results, right? Immediate results. What else do they want? They want to do it in a little amount of time. They don't want to spend 80 hours a week and be on Facebook from 8 a.m. till midnight. Okay? And the only way the only way that you alleviate people from doing that, the only way that you can look someone in the eye and say 5 to 10 hours a week is if you have a clear, concise, and consistent plan and a structure to back it up. A structure. What do I do with people from prospects? What do I do with people after they sign up to be a coach? Okay, and we're going to talk a lot today about those things. So, listen, all I know is this. The people that are doing this, I had Jason Sheff, the lead singer of Chicago, came up to me in Atlantis, right? And this guy, he comes up to me, you know, and I grew up a Chicago fan. Yeah, I used to listen to Chicago. I think I went to one of their concerts, you know, but, and he comes up to me and he goes, Tommy, man, I can't thank you enough. He goes, you know, I spent the whole last year, I haven't done much with the business because I didn't feel like I had the time. So this whole 5 steps thing and the challenge group thing has really, he goes, I definitely have time now. He goes, I'm working like maybe 3 to 5 hours a week, but I'm getting consistent results and I'm actually sponsoring you. He goes, so thank you, man. You made me believe that it was possible for me to have enough time to do this. All right? I have people all around the country that come up to me and say, I was a coach for 9 months, and until I started learning these 5 steps, I really didn't do anything. And now that I'm using them and building groups with them, I've sponsored like 11 people in the last 2 to 3 months. How many people would like that kind of result? Okay, because it's easy for me to go out there and sponsor people. I could go out and sponsor a tree, you know? Okay, but if what you do doesn't duplicate, if what you do isn't a system that duplicates, then what you have isn't good. You can't, listen, I couldn't duplicate my transformation. Right? I couldn't teach somebody how to be the poster boy for P90X on a commercial. Right? Which made my people fearful because they believed in order to get the result on the business side that they had to do that. But what was I going to do with the mom who just started and had only lost maybe 5 pounds and was just getting going but still wanted to introduce us to people for income? I had to have a plan for her. Right? Something she could do in 5 to 10 hours a week. Okay, so here's what duplicates. Documents duplicate, training videos duplicate. Okay, patterns can duplicate, and we're going to talk today about all those things. So what I want to do is go through the game plan. The easiest way that I've discovered to really show you what we do. And I'm just going to tell you what we do. It's up to you whether you use it or not. This is what I do. This is what our team does. Okay, and you're welcome to take any of it for free. I'm not here charging. I'm here because I'm great friends with Mike and Judd. And they had a group of people, and I thought, you know what? I'll bring my wife to California. That's not bad, right? Sure beats the hell out of Bellevue, Ohio. So as we go through the game plan, and I apologize that my computer went wacko on me out there, and so I don't have the slides. But let's talk about the game plan. Oh, wait. Okay. So the first step, okay, here's the game plan. The game plan is 6 core fundamentals, right? It's 6 core principles. 6 things that you can get focused on. That if you do these things, you'll be successful. Okay? And the thing is this, we got to get specific with these things. Okay, we know what we have to do now. How do we do that? How do we do that? It's not in the why, it's in the how. How do we do that, and how do we show someone else to do that? Okay? And so the first principle, number 1, is be a product of the product. And we already talked about having that enthusiasm for the products, right? I mean, if anything, this is the one part that our network is great at being. Our network rocks at being a product of the product. Why? Because the products rock. The products are amazing. We're not selling coffee. We're not selling toilet paper, right? We're selling life-changing results. There's people whose families have been saved because they decided to become part of what we do. Okay? And so what we have to realize, though, is the products expand well beyond the fitness programs and the nutritional supplements. Okay? I want you to write that down. More than the workouts. To me, being a product of the product means being a product of the income opportunity. Okay? Annie French has expanded her story, has expanded her territory, because before she was a product of the fitness but hadn't done much from the income. But now that she's doing something with the business, now her testimony has expanded greatly, right? Her testimony has grown. So now she can relate to people on different issues. She's now a product of the income opportunity. We have to understand that being a coach, I don't know why we're so afraid to talk about the income opportunity when we know that families need additional incomes. Are there families in California that could use an extra $1,000 a month? Right? I know there's families in Bellevue that could use that. I know there's people that are getting, their paychecks cut. They're not getting raises. They're not getting the overtime anymore at the factory. That's the area I come from. People bank on overtime. And then they're spending their life like slaves in a factory and never with their families. Okay, being a product of the product also means another product is personal development. Being a product of personal development. All right? And that means engaging in personal development. And once you become a product, and then the next category is being a product of the team. So you got to look at this, guys. Every team has a brand. Every team has a group, right? And they have their own culture, their own language, and their own focus of what they do. But your team needs to have, you got to know this. Who we are, what we do, and why we do it. If you can't explain that as a process or a system, if you can't explain who we are, then you really need to sit down and think about it. And how I would do that is this. I would take the 5 words, and you can do this as an individual, you can do this as a team. This is exactly what I did with my team when we were talking about our team's brand. I did it with myself too. If you draw a line down the middle and on the left, I want you to write 5 words that you would hope someone would describe you as, or that they would describe your team as. What are the words that come to mind? And then I want you to go ask some people that you're close to how they would describe you. Okay? And you'll be surprised that the majority of the time, they won't describe you as you want them to. And you got to give them free rein to use negative words. Because let's face it, listen, we're not perfect, right? Anybody in this room perfect? Besides my wife's butt? Oh, I'm sorry. But nobody's perfect. It must be those painkillers they gave me for my back. Jeez Louise. Okay, but here's the thing. If who you are doesn't match up to who you want to be, then you need to start taking more ownership of you and start digging out the real you that you want people to see. Okay? And when I did this with my team, it became very evident that some of the words were disorganized, unstructured, right? And I'm going home, and at the time, I thought my team was great. At the time, I'm like, yeah, we got a great team. But what hit me was people needed more than what I was giving them. People needed simple direction. They needed clear, concise, and consistent direction. Okay? So you have to make a determination. Who do I want to be, and who am I? And if who you are doesn't match up to who you want to be, then you need to make some changes. Okay, so being a product of the product. Once you become a product of more than just the fitness. See, there was, at the beginning of my journey, I was just a product of the fitness, which got me to get to Diamond. That bought me enough time to get me to Diamond. Because I could sponsor people just based on my fitness results, okay? But they didn't yet they trusted me when it came to signing up for a program, but they didn't trust me with their income opportunity and being a coach because I didn't yet create that for myself, right? So once you start becoming a product of the income opportunity, be a product of Success Club, right? That's another product that you need to be a part of. Success Club is a product. And when you start becoming a product of the Success Club, now you can talk to your people and tell them why it's worth it. Tell them what the benefits are. Say, hey, I don't know. All I know is I'm getting these free customers every month, and they're paying me for them. I don't even know these people. Is that something you'd like to have? Yeah, great. Then we need to get you in Success Club. Okay? So that's the first principle is being a product of the product. But I think that we got to get off our fitness dot. This networking hole, we got to get off this fitness dot, and we got to quit thinking that your business follows the number of push-ups you can do because it doesn't. It doesn't. Your business follows your ability to reach and deal with people and help people. The better you get at creating stories out of other people, the better your business will grow. The more that you become a product of everything, the more stories you can create for multiple reasons. Is that sinking in with you guys? Right? So that's the first thing, be a product of the product. The second thing is the sharing cycle, right? And so the sharing cycle is very simple. I mean, it's find, invite, share, and sponsor. Okay, which is all great, but okay, but then it leaves us in the field going, okay, how do I find people? Right? How do I find people? How do I invite people? What do I say? What do I do? What do I invite them to? So these are all things that freeze us, right? Because where there's doubt, there's fear, and where there's fear, there's paralysis. Okay, so if we don't know who we're inviting or how we're inviting them or what we're inviting them to, then we're screwed, right? I mean, because we're just going to stop. And then we're just like, I don't know what to do. So if your coaches, when you sponsor them, don't know those three things, who to invite, how to invite them, and what to invite them to, then they're not going to have the same results. So what we've done is, with this challenge group and the 5 steps, is we've answered those questions. We've answered right? What do they invite people to? Challenge groups. That's the one thing we're building. Okay? I used to use home parties and fit clubs. Okay, but what I found was a lot of people were fearful of having a home party. For whatever reason, right? So which is cool. And then I was like traveling like 4 hours on a Tuesday night to go drive and do somebody's home party. And I'm like, oh man, I really don't want to do this home party. I'm just not feeling it tonight. So with challenge groups, it gives us one simple thing to invite people to, and one simple way to enroll them as challengers. We're going to talk about how to close them and give them clear, concise direction. So now the 5 steps, and this is everybody have a copy of the 5 steps because we're going to talk about it. So I started doing these small group calls with my team, right? I call them legacy groups, and there were 6 people in a group, kind of like Team Challenge. Okay, but we did it, a group of 6, and I just said, just talk to me. Well, it became evident that I needed to work with my people more directly. That whatever I knew wasn't getting transferred to them. Okay? And it was fly by the seat of my pants, because my personality is fly by the seat of my pants. And right? And I was doing my whole team a disservice because I didn't have a specific plan, and I didn't work with them one-on-one or in small group situations. So I decided that we needed to have 3 ways of working with people: one-on-one, small group, large group. I talked to Mike about this last night. Small group. So in my small groups, because my fear, the reason I didn't hold back with people was because I had way too many of them. That's why I didn't help people. That's why I wasn't working with them one-on-one. I had way too many people. I mean, I sponsored 104 coaches 2 years ago, right? And then last year, I think I sponsored like 62. And I have like 250, and then you get overwhelmed because you're like, who do I spend time with, and how do I spend that time? So we created these small groups called legacy groups within our team, right? And so the first round of legacy, I had like 4 calls with 6 people. So I was personally mentoring 24 people in 4 hours a week. And I was doing it in small groups. And you have to give people permission to be completely open and real and vulnerable. Okay? You gotta invite them to do that. And they're only going to be as open and real and vulnerable as what you're willing to be about yourself. Okay? And so in these small groups, people were like, I just don't know what to say. How do I do this? What if, I don't know how to handle objections. Nobody has money. Nobody has money? Then you're buying all the crap the media is telling you, because I don't get money objections. I don't. So it became evident that they needed training on people. So we created this 5 steps, and the 5 steps is a process. It's a process of engagement. Whether you do it just simply by cutting and pasting these things, whether you do it verbally, it's in order that you can communicate with people so that you come from a place of service rather than a place of greed. So you come from a place of advisement rather than from a place of salesing. Okay, our job is to do things in such a way that we're a trusted advisor to people. Okay, and the only way that you do that is when you truly serve them. Right? If all you're thinking about is your points and your money and your rank, sooner or later the relationships that you build with people are going to falter. Because you build it based on you, not on them. When you build it based on them, you brought value into their life. Okay, now you've developed a relationship that lasts a lot longer. So the 5 steps will teach you how to do that, because everyone's like, oh, I don't know, what are you talking about? Well, the 5 steps are this. The first one is invite. And so I'm going to go through these 5 steps in order, and we're going to talk about the different things. Throughout these 5 steps, what we're going to do is talk about the people skills. This thing will teach you all the people skills you need to lead people to a choice. Okay, it's going to teach you how to do what we call form people, which is engage with questions and really help them and dig out their why. That's step 2. And then it's going to teach you how to handle objections. It's going to teach you how to close. And I don't care who you are, if you don't know those things, if you don't have that skill set, you're doing yourself a disservice. Okay, so the first step is invite. But this is what our network does. Our network invites very poorly. That's the truth. Because we go out and we spew everything at them at once, right? Here, it's like at the mall when you're walking and somebody comes, here, you want to try this rub? Let me do your fingernails, and they throw everything at you, and you're like, no, just get away from me, right? So learning how to invite people is key. Think about what people respond to. How many people in here will get an email from somebody for the first time and it's like 13 pages long? And you're like, oh, I ain't reading that. Delete. Right? Okay? But how many people, if it's just 1 or 2 sentences, you actually read it? Oh, yeah. Okay? I have people that So basically, here's the thing. Step 4 is all the details and explanations and agreements. When we go out and we put step 4 as the first step, when we do that first, when we come at someone with everything, when we give them all the details way too soon, then we're not likely to get a response or an enrollment. Because they're just like you. They're hitting delete when they're like, oh, that's too much. No. Because they haven't yet made a choice. You haven't given them the opportunity to get to their true reason why they should do it. Okay? So, step 2, so when you invite, it's very simple. You know, it's a simple sentence. And here's the thing, everybody goes, and the sentence, it's a couple of sentences. You give them a very small snippet and ask them if they'd like to hear more about it. Would you like to hear more about that? Okay? Get really good at that. Okay? And let's see. So step 1. So the first thing is inviting. Learning how to properly invite people. Learning how not to product vomit on them. Learning how to keep it very simple at the beginning. Simple message, simple direction. I got to tell you, I have people that will. I have people I don't know that will send me a whole list of things. I had one girl sent me a list that says, hey, I have 14 questions for you, and lists them all. Oh, gosh. And I'm like, you're not on my team. I don't even know you, and you're going to come at me with 14 questions? That will take me 2 hours to write answers to. I can't train you in 14 questions. No, and I just don't reply. Right? And then I've had people that I don't know that send me a message and say, out of respect, they say, Tommy, hey, and they keep it simple. They step 1 me correctly, and they go, Tommy, I know you're very busy, and I know you have a lot of people asking you for things, but I was wondering if you had just a few moments to answer a couple simple questions. Right? Yeah, a few moments is a lot different than 14 questions. A couple simple questions got me to reply. And in fact, it says, yeah, what's your number? I'll call you right now. It's gotten me on the phone with people for 90 minutes. I've given them way more than they asked for because I believed the couple simple questions in a few moments of my time. It got me to reply. Right?
Nice.
Okay? But they came to me out of a place of respect by asking me for my time. Okay? So step 2 is this. Step 2 is asking questions, engaging in questions. Okay? And this is where you got to get really good. How many people have seen the YouTube training of the 5 steps in Dallas? Anybody watch that? Okay. So there's a live training. If you go to youtube.com/TBB, Team Beachbody Challenge Box, there's a 1-hour training. I'm not going to spend a whole hour on this because I want to get to some other parts of the game plan, but there's a 1-hour training there of me and Dallas training the 5 steps and talking about step 2 thoroughly. Step 2 is simply asking questions, right? Step 2 is asking questions. Write this down. You have to diagnose before you prescribe. And if you don't spend time asking questions, you're not diagnosing. Well, what would happen if you walked in the doctor and you just walked in and the doctor just looked at you and said, here, take this, before he evaluated what was truly wrong with you? Right? Doctors diagnose before they prescribe, don't they? And so we need to do the same thing with people. We need to get really good at diagnosing. How do we diagnose? We ask simple questions. Multiple times. You might have 7 messages. You might have a 30-minute conversation on the phone. But the more you get to know about the person, the better you can help them get what they want. All right? Step 2 is meant to be used multiple times with the same person. It's not just, here's the difference. If somebody comes back, if somebody says, well, I'd like to lose a few pounds. Okay? Where we make a mistake is we think that's enough. And it's not. It's not. When they say, I'd like to, well, you know what? I'd like to make a little bit of money. Well, let's talk about that a little. When you say lose a few pounds, how many pounds are you talking about? Get them into specific details. Well, I'd like to lose about 15 pounds. Okay, great. So how long has that been bothering you? You got to ask questions that surround their emotion. We're emotional creatures. People make purchase choices and enrollment choices based on their emotion, not on the facts. So when you say something like, well, how long has that been bothering you? right? And they get to their emotion, now you've got something. So you're getting them to reflect for themselves. Don't assume that you know why. Don't assume, okay? So step 2, asking these questions. What do I ask? How long has that been bothering you? So tell me, what would it do for you if we helped you fix that? What would it do for your life? The more that you capture in step 2, the more likely they are, this is going to be objection prevention. So if you're getting all these objections down the road and they just don't have the money, it's because they didn't develop a deep enough emotional reason during step 2. All right? So write that down. Stay on step 2. Learn to stay on step 2. Learning to question and then connect. Step 3 is connecting. Become a connector. The marketplace pays big money for people that get good at connecting. Don't be the person with all the answers. Don't be the expert. Connect them to a solution. And listen, you can do this all the time. I talked about plugging your coaches into personal development, right? So here's what happens. When I sit down with a coach, I'll go through step 2 with them, and if I think that what's holding them back is a philosophy or a skill or a mental reason or a fear, I don't try to solve that. I plug them, I connect them to materials that do. I connect them to a book. I connect them to a trainer. I connect them to the team. I connect them to a Jim Rohn audio or to Danny Johnson. I connect them there, and I let those resources spend the time helping them with their issue. I'm not there to be their counselor. I'm there to be recommending things that they can get the answers from. Recommend. Get really good at connecting and recommending things. Okay? Once I learned this, because I used to try to be everything to everybody, I would spend 2 hours on the phone with people listening to all their emotional junk, right? Because I truly love people and I truly care about people and I truly want to help people. And what I didn't realize was as I tried to take on all of their burdens, in my own heart, it was dragging me down, and all I did was slow everybody down because their junk was depressing me. And I was not really qualified, other than to be a friend, to help them with that. And they've gotten better help since I've stopped being the counselor and started being the connector. Right? So that's step 2. Step 3 is the connector. All right? Become a good connector. And this goes for everything that you do. And listen, you don't necessarily have to connect people to Beachbody. Too many times we're out there and we're talking and we're trying to find a way to connect them to Beachbody. Okay, if I talk to somebody publicly, most of the time I just want them to get connected to me first. And usually through Facebook. When I'm out there in the field, I keep the conversation short and I go, dude, yeah, we should connect. Are you on Facebook? Yeah. They say yes. I say, well, great. Listen, I might have to delete some friends so I can add you because I have too many friends. Okay, but, right? And so I can get them connected to you. They don't have to yet make the decision about Beachbody right there on the spot. You're not trying to connect them to the challenge group yet, but are they now on your list? Yeah, they're on your list. They're on your group of people that you can invite at a later time to join your next challenge group. You've connected with them. So becoming a connector is step 3. Step 4 is details. It's details and expectations. Okay? And so this is where most people, you got to understand the order of this conversation. So anytime I get on the phone with a coach, let's say it's a coach, I 5-step them. Right? I 5-step everybody. Right? I engage with questions, I connect them to solutions, and I give them the details and agreement what their homework is. So you do that with coaches. You give them their homework, you give them an expectation, here's the details, here's the agreement. Okay? And so step 4 is where we give the details and the agreement and the closing. And the closing. You close people with questions. I'm going to tell you, my mom has a twin brother. And while my family was very poor, my mom's twin brother was actually very wealthy. And he was the vice president of Owens Corning, which at the time was booming before all the asbestos claims, right? And my Uncle Bill, he's been a huge mentor in my life, but he once told me this. And he said, the one thing I know is this. If you don't ask for this sale, you'll never get it. If you don't ask for it, you'll never get it. Okay, there's a lot of us that are out there, and we talk to people, and we want them to enroll, but we're afraid to ask the closing questions. We're afraid to ask. Okay, so asking simple questions like, does that sound good? Yeah, and if they say yes, then you close them. So listen, you give people 2 clear options. Again, it's going to come down to these clear and simple options, these clear and simple solutions, right? 2 clear options. They've decided to enroll, and you give them 2 clear options. Now, once they decide to enroll, you're sorting them into categories, right? You're sorting them into yes or no. They decide that they want to do it. Now you're sorting them into coach or customer. And so the closing is great. We have 2 ways to enroll people. In our challenge groups, we enroll people one of 2 ways. As a challenge coach who both saves and earns money for referrals, okay, or as a challenge customer who pays retail and waives the right to save or make money. Right? That's how I word it. Nice. So I don't know if you want to waive your right to save or make money. You know, but you give them those 2 options, 2 clear options, customer or coach. Let's say they decide to become a coach. Now, do they just want to be a coach that saves money, or would they like to start making money right away? If they just want to save the money, I'm not going to waste my time in a GSR with them. Right? Begging them to do it. So 2 clear options, customer or coach. All you have to know is this. You just got to learn the end of that step 4. A lot of times I just copy and paste it. It's already there written, boom, I give it to them, and it already divides it into clear options. It makes it a heck of a lot easier. Okay, and then step 5 is enrolling, right? Let's see. Step 5 is actually the enrollment. Is setting up your enrollment. Setting up how they're going to enroll. So once they say, yeah, I'd like to be a coach, then you go and you give them the step-by-step on how to sign up to be a coach, right? So here's the other thing. This is where we lose people a lot of times. People say they want to sign up, but then we're not very clear as to how they do it step-by-step. And so you just say, yeah, go to my website and sign up. And people, if you give them very clear, concise direction, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the 6 steps to enrolling. Here, take this, and then notify me when you're done, so I can verify it, right? So it's always about being very clear. So at the end of this thing, you've got the step-by-step on enrolling people as a customer, enrolling people as a coach, enrolling people as only on Shakeology. Okay, so all my coaches know is this. They get a coach, they go copy that, and they send it to them. Or they get them on the phone, and they walk them step-by-step through those 6 steps, right? So they always have that there with them, at their desk, or wherever. So enroll as a coach. Okay, how many of you get objections? Right? Objections, right? I mean, that's like the worst thing, isn't it? You talk to someone, you get them to like step 4, and you ask them to enroll, and they're like, well, I'm not sure I have the time right now. Okay, I'm not sure that I have the money right now. I'm not sure that I can do it right now, right? And we're like, they don't have the money. They have the money, they're just spending it on Red Bull at the gas station. Right? They have the money. They took the kids to the movies with it. You know, or they ordered a pizza with it. Okay, so here's the thing. I want you to write this down. Facts tell, stories sell. Stories sell. Okay, we're in the business of creating stories, of creating testimonials, right? Our job is to take people and make testimonials. Our job is to, within our team structure, create these testimonials so that when we get those excuses, when someone gives me the time excuse, okay, I use the objection handling, I don't know, all I know is. You've heard me say it 3 times today. I don't know, all I know is, right? Okay, I don't know, all I know is share a story, reclose them. It's very simple. Okay, so someone says to me, or they write to me, or they say to me, well, I don't think I have the time. Say, yeah, I don't know about that. All I know is Tina has 5 kids and works a 12-hour shift as a nurse, and she's absolutely crushing this thing in 5 hours a week. So I don't know if you have 5 kids and work 12-hour shifts or not, but if she can do it, so can you, don't you think? Right? If she can do it, so can you, don't you think? Don't you think is the closing question. Right? Here's the thing, if you're doing it face-to-face with somebody, and you say, when you say don't you think, you go, don't you think? Start shaking your head, yes. The way that your body position is going to get them to say yes, right? Yeah, don't you think? You're not going to say, don't you think? Right? Wouldn't you agree? So if she can do it, so can you. Wouldn't you agree? Here's the thing. The story that you use has to be someone that overcame the same or more difficult level of obstacle that the person is facing. Right? If I've got somebody that wants to lose 100 pounds, I'm not going to show them Judd Welty's before and after picture. I'm not. I'm going to use a story of someone that lost 130 pounds. And using the same program. But if I have somebody that just maybe wants to get super fit and athletic, then I'm going to pull up a similar story. This is why team engagement is so huge. Team engagement is at the core of what we do. If you're not engaged with the team, and when I talk about team engagement, I talk about really the team page, right? Team engagement with your challenge group, team engagement by being at these events. And it's not just about you being engaged with the team, it's about you leading your people to engage with the team as well. Okay? So too many times I got people that, trust me, I've got a group. If I did an event in North Ohio, it'd be like this. I'd have this many coaches in the room. And I've had coaches that show up every time that we have a meeting, and in 2 years it's always been just them. And it hasn't yet clicked with them that until they get good at bringing other people, you want your people. Let me show you this. This is how information flows, all right? So information, so let's say this is you, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Let's say that you, and here's your resources, team, okay? Okay, you got to know who your trainer is, where they get in the training. For us, we outsource our training to a lady called Danny Johnson. That's what our team does. So I plug them into her trainings so that she can train them and she can deal with their junk so I don't have to, right? It's not that I don't want to, but she does a hell of a lot better job at it than I do. And, you know, so the team and Danny, right? Other resources are events. Okay, let's say that you're number 1. And you are engaged with all of these things, right? You're plugged into the team, you're plugged into the trainer, you're plugged into the event. Now, maybe you use the CTA for training. I don't. I use the CTA as a resource down the road. When and if that they need something, we pull out that specific thing that they need. Because the last thing I want a new person to do is become paralyzed by analysis, right? That's the last thing I want them to do. I don't want them watching 40 hours of video before they make a dime. So I want them immediate income, right? So here's the thing. You have 100% access to the information, right? If you're on my team page, you have 100% of access to my information that I know. So if you try to pass it all down, let's say that this person below you is really super smart and they retain 50% of what you know. I think Einstein retained 13% of any information that came to him directly. 13%, right? So we're not Einstein. I'm giving you a lot of leeway at 50%, right? So if I talk to you, what's your name? So I talk to Jessica. If the information I share with Jessica, she gets 50% of it, right? She only gets half of what I know, okay? So she has 50%. And so Jessica then shares with Patty, right? And Patty's number 3. And so Jessica tries to be the end-all and the know-it-all, just like I did, because she's going to duplicate what I do. If I don't get Jessica plugged in to this stuff, then she's only plugging into me. She's sucking the energy out of me, because I am her resource. Okay? But let's say she passes it on to Patty, and Patty now has 3 levels deep, only 25% of what I have. Right? And then Patty passes it on. Nelson, I like that name. Nelson. Makes me want to wrestle. But let's say that she passed it on. Now Nelson only has 12.5%. By the time we're 5 levels down, we're at 6%. Okay, so the key is this. Not that I have all the information, but that I know where the information is, so that when I want as many people, I want number 2 to be plugged into these 3 things as well. And number 3, you want as many people 1 level deep from all of this, right? Plug in, plug in, plug in. This is why, listen, I went to a Danny event. It was just me, right? And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't get enough people in front of her because she can train them better than I can. And I want them to have the same resources as me. Now, if my ego was getting in the way, if my ego would want to be the person training them and getting the credit, right? So you've got to make a decision. Is the credit more important than the level of your income? Because for the first 3 years of me doing this business, it was. For the first 3 years, I wanted that credit. For the first 3 years, I loved that praise. People come to me and say, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, right? And that made me feel good. But I got to tell you, that's why I was a struggling diamond coach making $300 a week. And in the last 18 months, I've sponsored 18 diamonds total, right? And 3 business centers, about to open my 4th. You know why? Because I started getting out of the way. I stopped trying to be the answer for everybody on all things, and I started plugging people in to resources. Okay? Plug them in. So, but you have to clearly identify what you do. See, here's what happens, especially with trainers. If our team, here's the thing. You want this is my personal opinion, but when you have one trainer that trains your team, now your whole team speaks the same language. Okay? It's now it's not a village of idiots where one's speaking German and one's speaking English and one's speaking Spanish. Imagine if you walked into a room and there were 5 different spoken languages going on, right? And would you even want to bring somebody into that? I wouldn't. You know. So I want my team to all be using the same resources, speaking the same language, focused on the same simple things. Building challenge groups and using the 5 steps and plugging in to the team page and to Danny and to the resources, right? Okay, our team calls. All right, so and here's why. So now when I sponsor Julian, if my team is speaking all the same language, I know that he's going to get the same words of advice from my team that he would get from me. Now I can let the team absorb some of the workload, right? The team can help you faster and better than I can myself, okay? So that brings us into the third one. The third game plan is really effective sponsoring. It says get started right, to get started right. And I got to tell you, this is something that I wasn't very good at for a long time. I would sponsor someone and then I would just sponsor them, pat them on the ass and say, go get them. Yeah. But we didn't have a way to show them how to go get them, right? I screwed up way more people. Out of the 300 people I've sponsored, I probably screwed up 240 of them. All right? But that's how I learned. I disappointed a lot of people. Write this down. In this business, disappointment is going to happen. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. So it's going to require forgiveness on your part. You're going to have to forgive a lot of people, including yourself. If you truly want to do this business, people will fail you and you will fail people. It's part of the process, okay? You will fail them and they will fail you. It's the truth. You're going to have customers that say they're going to sign up and they never enroll. Then they disappear, right? They're like Casper the Ghost. I don't know where the hell they went. Okay? Does that upset you? You're going to have people that disappoint you because they go to Amazon and buy the workout videos. Yeah. Get over it. Who cares? It's a one-time $30 commission. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Don't sit there and spit and curse on that relationship because you didn't get your $29.99. We have to get past that one person and understand that every person comes with an orchard. Every single person comes with 1,000 people they know that you don't. And it's their list of people that is of value to your business. It's their list of people that you want to get them to. It's the list of their people. So the better we get at engaging people so they immediately go to their list, then the more likely we are somewhere along the way to find leaders and people who truly want to build this. The majority of people you sponsor aren't going to want to do this. They think they might want to do it, but they're not willing to make the sacrifices that it takes. I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of sacrifices that it takes. I was afraid to do this business. I didn't think it would work. I really didn't. I was making 60 grand a year as an insurance agent, and I remember I was so friggin' miserable at my job. Like, absolutely miserable. I would show up and sit in the parking lot and cry for 20 minutes before I got out of the car. And it was like, if the phone would ring, and someone's like, hey, I need an auto policy, I was like cringing, man. I'm like, oh my gosh, this sucks. Like, there was no fulfillment in homeowners insurance for me. There wasn't, right? And all I knew was every day that I got in the message boards with Team Beachbody was like this friggin' blessing in my life. Like, I was fulfilled, I was happy, I was helping people, and in turn I was helping myself. And all I knew was there were other people in this network that were making 3, 4, 5, 6 grand a month, and this is a year in. And I'm like, dude, okay, I know Mike French, I know Aaron Mathis, I know Mark Briggs, man. If they can do it, why can't I? See, some of you haven't even asked yourself that question. If they can do it, why can't I? You think that Success Club and the top 10 are only for you. I'm a football coach from Bellevue, Ohio, middle of nowhere, right? Cornfields and cow poop. That's all we have. And empty buildings. 9,000 people. How many people live in Bakersfield?
300,000.
Like 500,000 people? That's a lot of people. 500,000 people, and we got what, 130 in this room, 140 in this room? Dude, right here in your own backyard is a tremendous amount, because every person you know here knows 1,000 people around the world. That's why Craig Holliday says, think locally, grow globally. Okay? So, effective sponsoring, let's talk about that. Because it's not only, this is the plan to get people in, right? So what do? We build challenge groups, and we use the 5-step process. Learn to use it verbally. Learn to use it on the phone. All you got to do is slow down and ask questions. Honestly, if that's all you get out of this, is when you find yourself wanting to explain, shut up and ask a question. The person asking questions wins. The person explaining loses. That's a very simple rule to follow, right? Does that make it easy for you? Right? So I find myself wanting to product vomit and describe everything about the ultimate reset. Shut up, ask a question. Well, let me ask you, how's your energy? There's a question you can ask, right? So, but then we have to have a plan of what we do with people once we sponsor them. Okay? And that plan is really how to get people started right. 80% of this business is new people going to their warm market in the first 30 days. If you can get good at getting people to break even, they did a research on 3,500 coaches, and they said, what's your average income expectation? And on average, the average coach wanted to what? You probably, huh? You think it was 500? It was $50.
They want to break even.
Yeah, they want to break even, right? Yeah, so the majority of people that enroll as a coach, if they could just break even, would be very happy. Okay, I remember when I put that on my credit card, I'm thinking, oh, there's another $100 a month going on in my pocket. You know, damn, I could have bought some lottery tickets with that. You know? And so, what you do with a new person in the first 30 days either makes or breaks. It either makes or breaks. 80% of your income, I got to tell you, 80% of my income is team. 80% of your income is going to be a direct reflection on your ability to effectively sponsor people. Effectively sponsor. How do you effectively sponsor? You better have a very clear, concise, and consistent plan. Here's exactly what we do, right? So what we do with our coaches is we step to them. That's the first thing we do in the GSR is we engage in questions. We ask them questions about their life and what they want, and then we show them a way to get it, right? So I go into step 2 with a new coach, and I evaluate where they're at. I evaluate where they're at, and then I give them the solution. And the solution is always the same. It's use the 5 steps, make your list of people. Let's build a challenge group. If we can get 3 to 5 people in this first month, you'll be breaking even or making a little bit of money Does that sound good to you? Yeah, that's what the majority of people want, so we show them a way to get that. Okay? So, if you can nail the GSR, I'm telling you, man, you know, get really good at breaking numbers. So, here's the thing, people get confused, right? When I sponsor someone, and not everybody sponsors the same, but I'm going to tell you what I focus on, okay? So when I sponsor someone, I want them to think about one thing. 5 people, 2 coaches, let's get to Emerald. That's it. In their first 30 days. We got 30 days to get you to Emerald so you can start getting some free customers. And 30 days, 5 people, I don't want them doing anything else but this. One on your right, one on your left. Talk to me tomorrow. It's like, here, take 2 pills and call me in the morning. Right? Here, take 2 pills, and tomorrow you follow up and you tell me how you're feeling. So the 2 pills are one coach on the right, one coach on your left. Okay, and by the way, are you serious? I give them 2 options. Are you serious about doing this for the income, or are you just kind of dabbling with it? Right? Or are you just dabbling with it? So you have to determine whether they're going to treat it like a hobby or a business. That's your job to ask them that question. And they're going to give you the answer. So let's say that they say, no, I'm serious about doing it. No, I seriously want to do this as an income opportunity. I say, great. If you're going to be in this in the long run, if you're not going to disappear on me in 3 to 6 months, okay, then I'm going to tell you the first thing I would do is sign up my spouse. Okay, I can't control enough accounts. I wish I had 4 wives, only so I could have 4 spouses. You know? I mean, seriously, I want to have as many spots as I can. So the best thing that someone can do would be sign up their spouse. That gets them halfway to Emerald, and in the long run, they're going to make more money with that account than they will spending on it. So if they're going to be serious about it, and you determine they're serious and they want to stay in the game long run, then you get them to sign up their spouse. You said the first thing I would do is sign up my spouse. Then the next thing is take your list. Let's make your list of people. Who do you know that might want to be in a challenge group? Okay. Keep this very simple. If you master the 5 steps and you master how to build a group, so you got to learn how to build groups with the 5 steps. You got to teach somebody. I sponsor Julian. I got to show Julian how to use the 5 steps and build a group and rank advanced to Emerald. And then I got to show Julian how to show her. Easy to learn, easy to do, easy to teach. Once I get Julian able to teach me, I've now duplicated myself, and I don't have to work with Julian's people anymore. That's why whatever plan you use, it's the simplicity of it. Okay, whatever you're teaching, is it easy to do? Is it easy to learn? Is it easy to teach? Okay, so when you sit down with someone at the beginning, they don't want to work 80 hours to get their first $30. Do they? No. So here's the thing. If they believe it's going to take 80 hours, guess what? They're going to go, Casper. They're going to disappear on you. If you're giving them way too much too soon, if you're trying to plug them into everything too soon, you know, I don't plug them into our trainer until they perform for a couple months. And then I might recommend them getting some personal development. But if I say, here, read this book, and here, go to this training, and here, do this, they're going to freak out. They're going to disappear on you, right? So what you do the first 48 hours. Okay? And if you guys can nail that, seriously, then you can build this business. Since we've simplified it, my incomes went up almost 300% in a year. And I was already making good money. I was already making more money doing this than I was doing insurance, right? And so, effective sponsor. So, I'm out of time now, right? Okay.
We can, the effective sponsoring, we do that.
Yeah, we can do that. We'll do that together. Yeah, that's fine. So, what's the 4? Okay. Guys, and I apologize if I'm a little out of it today, man. My back's been jacked up all week, so. You're
killing it.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. So treating your business like a business, right? This is the 4th step of the game plan. And what we have to understand is that it's easy to get in this business. It costs you $200. $200 is a forgettable amount of money. $200 for most people. I've spent that on a bad night that I don't remember. You know, I really have. I mean, there's time. $200. I spent, you know. And so people tend to treat it like it's a $200 investment. Okay, rather than a huge investment. If you start treating it, what if to buy your franchise, I mean, think about this, to buy a Wendy's franchise costs what?
$1,000,000.
Huh? It's $500,000. Costs you $500,000 just to get the Wendy's sign on the building, right? So any franchise, what you've done when you sign up to be a coach is you've bought a franchise. Okay, you are a franchise. You decided to open up a retail operation. And our business is creating a line of distribution. We have to show people how to distribute. We have to show people what to do. So if you treat it like what if you had 500 grand? And if you had put 500 grand to start this business, would it have taken you 3 years to actually do the business? No, you would have done it right away, right? Because the investment was bigger. Okay, so many of us, where we falter is we think the opportunity matches the cost to get in. This is absolutely the best choice you can make. If you measure downside versus upside, the downside of this is what? I spend $200 to get in, I spend $100 a month on Shakeology, I get healthy, and I don't make any money because I didn't sponsor anybody, right? That's the downside. It's not a pretty deep downside. I think that's a pretty good downside. What's the upside? The upside, I mean, there's people in our network that are making over $1 million a year. That's the upside. The most money you can make in this business is, if you maxed out all 25 centers, okay, the most money you can make just in team volume bonus is $15.6 million. Now, I don't know what part of $15.6 million that you would like to make, but it ain't all of it. You know? It's staggering to me to think that what we're talking about could turn into $15.6 million. But we treat it like it's worth $200. How many of you are in a job that will ever pay you 7 figures? How many of you are in a job that would ever pay you 6 figures? You know what I mean? I was never going to make 6 figures doing what I did in my small hometown. I wasn't. Never. Okay? So if you start treating this like a business, treating it like a business means having a plan. Having a plan. This is what changed with me and my group was this. I used to wake up and do all day. I didn't have any open hours. I didn't have any hours of operation. I wasn't really treating it like a business. How many businesses do you know that are open 24/7 and the same person running it all 24 hours every day of the week, right? So because I wasn't treating it like a business, I was spending way too much. I was spending 70, 80 hours, okay? And half of that time, if you're spending that much time on this, it's because you're socializing on Facebook. You're not actually doing the business. You're talking to other coaches on Facebook and commenting on everybody's pictures, which isn't working. That's socializing. Okay, so once I figured out that I needed to have hours of operation, okay, I needed to have a way to deal with people. If I was truly going to treat this like a business, then I needed to schedule appointments. Does a doctor schedule appointments? Does an attorney schedule appointments? Right? So I got to decide what hours during the week that I'm available to schedule appointments for. Okay, so I schedule a couple hours in the morning 3 days a week and a couple hours in the early evening 3 days a week, and the only night during the week is my team night, right? So you've got to determine when you're available. Don't let them determine when you're available. Who wants to be in control? You do. And if you respect your time, other people will respect your time. If you respect the opportunity, other people will respect the opportunity. So if you treat it like a business, your team is going to duplicate everything you do. And they're also going to duplicate everything you don't do. So if you don't treat this like a business, guess what your team is? They're not going to treat it like a business. Treating it like a business, if you have $500,000, treating it like a business means that you show up even in the months when you don't want to. Right? There's not a single business in the world where everybody is excited every single day and every single month. Okay? And so here's what happens. Hillary, how many months in a row have you made Success Club? 27, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Every single month. Hillary is the only person in the whole network that not only has she made Success Club every single month, but she's made Success Club 10 every single month. 27 times. I haven't done that. You know, I mean, much respect, man. That's incredible. You know, so here's the thing. Someone who is consistent will consistently go up. So I see all too often, I see people that do this. They come in and for 3 months, they work, and they get to a certain level, and then they disappear for a while. And guess what? When you disappear, what does your income do? It duplicates that. It disappears. Right? If you go mow the yard, and you weed the landscaping, and then you leave for 6 months, and you come back, what's your yard going to look like? It's going to look like crap. Right? It's going to have weeds, and you're like, man, I weeded that thing 6 months ago. I mowed the yard 6 months ago, now it looks like a friggin' jungle. Okay? So, too many times, people will come in, and that first 2, 3, 4 months, man, they'll crush it. They'll crush it, they'll crush it, they'll crush it. And what happens is, they start getting a little bit of praise, they start getting a little bit of recognition, they think they got enough, or they get frustrated with the job, they get frustrated with their business, and they go MIA. They go MIA, right? And when they go MIA, their team goes MIA, their retail customers go MIA, and it goes down. And then all of a sudden, they're like, oh crap, my income's going down again, I better start working. I'm not seeing any growth, I'm not seeing my income go up. So then they decide to start working. And they start working, and the same thing happens. And they come and they go, and they come and they go. But the thing is, they kept themselves off right there because they don't have consistent growth time after time. Hillary and Mike's income didn't grow because they crushed 3 months. My income didn't grow because I showed up for 3 months and led the pack. In fact, listen, I've been in the top 10, 2 years now, right? 2 years in a row, I've been in the top 10. Let's break down what I've done. Okay, so in 4 years, I've been a coach for 4 years. I've sponsored around 280 people in 4 years. Okay, which is 70 people a year. Which is how many a week?
1.5.
Yeah, it's 1.3 people a week. 1.3 people a week. 1.3 a week. Okay, on average, I score 12 successful points a month. Okay, that's my average. That's what I do. That's my average. Consistently. Okay? So 1.3 people a week. So here's my question. See, because it's hard to look at someone like me and go, I can do that. Because you got all kinds of fears you don't think you can. The thing is, I've been a coach for 4 years and just been consistent. 1.3 people a week. Do you have one person this week that you could sponsor? Right? If you took the 5 steps and built a challenge group, could you find one person to enroll as a coach? Right? Is that doable? One person this week. Okay, if you do that this week, then all you got to do is wake up next week and do the same thing. And do it consistently, time after time, month after month. Okay? It's when you disappear that everything goes down. When you disappear, guess what? Your rank disappears. Right? I've got people that have been Star Diamond and are currently Emerald. And they went from making, maybe they were 1 star making $400 or $500 a week, and now they're making $40 a week. And all they do is blame me. And when I've been here every month, and I've been engaged every month, and so that's why you got to do this. Treating your business means understanding that you have to run with the willing. I can't run with it. I can't edify someone as a leader and uphold someone as a leader if they disappear every 6 months for 5 months. Just can't do it, right? So what you have to ask yourself is when you disappear, I mean, your stats won't lie. Your business reflects your actions and your skills. Treating your business like a business means investing in your skills. Your people skills, your closing skills, your prospecting skills, your organization skills, your time management skills. How can you invest in that? Through personal development. You can learn those things. Treating your business like a business means helping other people get those same skill sets. Okay? And it also means not disappearing. It means showing up, even when you don't want to. There's months, guys, there's been months where it sucked for me. Where seriously, I was like, do I have to recruit any more people? You go recruit 300 people, and you deal with 300 people that come with crap, and you're going, oh man, do I really want to deal with this? So treating your business like a business is vital. The 5th part of the game plan is active team engagement. I call it team engagement. It means being around the team. We've talked about it. We've talked about it before, but team engagement is where everything happens. Team engagement is where you learn the stories. Team engagement is where you learn the testimonies. Team engagement is where you develop a deeper belief. But here's what happens when you have a team. If you have a team that's speaking 17 languages and nobody's on the same page, okay, because then nothing has duplicated, okay? And when that happens, then the new person is just completely confused. Who do I listen to? Which way do I go? What do I do? Every team has to pick an offense. In my opinion, teams, right, in the NFL, teams have an offense and a defense, right? Does every team in the NFL run the same offense? No. They run different offenses, right? And not every team has the same defenses. Okay? The important thing is this, that for your team, you pick a way to do it, and then you focus on that way, and that becomes your offense. So our offense on our team is the 5 steps, building challenge groups, and that's it. Learning how to rank advance to Emerald, learning how to sponsor someone. That's the core of our focus. And I don't know, we had 10 diamonds at the beginning of last year, and in 14 months now we're up to almost 50 on our team because it just happens, okay? So, team engagement. But, okay, so within the team, it's how the new kid learns, right? I mean, if I got a freshman kid that shows up to football practice, he's a little scrawny squirt, right? He's not as strong, he's not as talented, he doesn't know as much, but he's there to learn. My job is to teach the seniors and juniors what to do and help the little kid and show him what to do. They can get them as far as they went, right? So it's the same in this business. My job is to show you what to do and then to show you how to show your people what to do. All right? But team engagement, being around the team, showing up to events. And then the 6th part of the game plan is be a leader. Be a leader. And to me, becoming a leader means that you're never going to ask your people to do something you're unwilling to do yourself. I mean, if you're not making Success Club and you're waiting for your people to make Success Club, then guess what? It's never going to happen. If you're whatever you do duplicates, right? Being a leader means being structured and organized in such a way that you do the same things with people and lead them in the same directions. All right? And so, and you have an incredible leaders here with Judd and with Mike and Kenan and Anna and Julie. Where's she at?
She's not here today.
Okay, so guys, listen. I know listen. You're going to have the opportunity to hear Hillary Kelly, who's absolutely amazing. You're really privileged to have her. I'm excited to listen to Hillary because she knows a lot of stuff, and I've come to respect her greatly. So Mike, thank you so much for having me. And